so today I'm gonna be making a beef stew. It's my dad's favorite and he's gonna be coming over tonight. He's taking my son Braxton to see Star Wars and then coming over. So I decided to make a beef stew. And here's the ingredients that you're gonna need. 4 russet potatoes, pepper, salt, Italian seasoning, tomato paste, beef broth, sea salt, celery, garlic, cloves, onion powder, some Worcestershire sauce. I never say that right. I'm using red wine, but you can also use a balsamic vinegar. I just didn't have any, so I'm gonna be using red wine, bay leaves, star anise, and if you don't already have this, it's okay. It's just optional. You only need 1/2 of one of these, but it really does help with the flavoring of your stew. You can find it in your spice section if you haven't seen it before. Some carrots, onion, flour, sweet potato, parsley. And the reason I have so much of this, you can see over here I have double of all of my ingredients because I'm going to be also making this as a freezer meal. So whenever I want to have it in the future, I'll already have it frozen. And so that's why I also have some freezer bags. And then also you'll need your Instant Pot. A lot of people have an Instant Pot. Mine is a Kasori Instant Pot, so they're all pressure cookers. This is just the one I happen to have. Kasori was so kind to send it to me. I also have a recipe on chicken fajita soup. I'll leave that down below if you'd like to see that as well. And I have a lot more recipes I plan on doing and more freezer meals and things like that. So if that interests you, feel free to subscribe down below. And yeah, let's get started. And one more thing, if you don't mind leaving a comment down below of what's something that you like for me to make in the future using the Instant Pot, I would definitely like to hear your thoughts. So, all right, let's get going. Step is you want to get one of these large Ziploc bags and go ahead and put your meat in there, and then 1/3 cup of your flour. Then you're going to want to put in 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 to 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Now you want to zip that bad boy up and get to shaking. Shake it real good until all of the meat is coated. Okay, so next you want to put your slow cooker on, well, plug it in first, hold on. Okay, so let's get it on saute and turn it on. And then you just want to put a little bit at a time in here. And you're just going to brown the outsides of it. You're not going to get it thoroughly cooked all the way through yet. Okay, so you're going to add a little bit of oil to the bottom of the pan. And then you're going to wait for this to let you know it's ready to go. And then once it's heated, we're going to start putting the meat into the pot. Okay, so it's ready to go. So I'm going to start putting this in, and so whatever you do, you don't want to crowd your pot. So just put enough in to brown, your first batch, and then put these into a plate and then put your next batch in. Now you don't have to use the Instant Pot to brown your meat. I just prefer to do that. It's just easier to use it to saute, but you can brown your meat however you like. So browning my meat is actually just an extra step. You do not have to do that. I just do that to add some extra flavor. If you have a little bit of extra time, that definitely did take me a good 20 minutes to add to this recipe. So if you don't want to do that, you're in a hurry, you most certainly do not have to do that step. So just FYI, you can always just dump your meat in and make your stew. So just wanted to add that in. Okay, so next step, we're going to go ahead and so I've cleaned my pot, and now I'm ready to go ahead and put everything else in. Okay, so now we're going to saute the onions and the garlic, so go ahead and put those in your slow cooker, your pressure cooker, not your slow cooker. So used to the slow cooker, but it's wonderful to have this Instant Pot now. Get all that in there. And by the way, earlier I meant 3 cloves of garlic, not an entire garlic. So just to correct myself, earlier if you thought I meant 3 entire, you know what I mean. Okay, so after you've seared your onions and garlic for about 2 minutes, you want to go ahead and pour in your red wine or your balsamic vinegar. And your tomato paste. Okay, so after you let these deglaze for about a minute, you're gonna add your meat back in. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and put in your vegetables and your seasonings. And so we're gonna start with the potatoes. You can put these in whatever order you'd like. The carrots, your sweet potatoes, celery, and I'm noticing that, okay, so I went ahead and mixed it myself before putting anything else in, like the broth, so it wouldn't be splashing everywhere since it is kind of towards the top. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the however you say it, sauce. This I never can say it right. The bay leaf and the star anise. 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Okay, now we're going to put in the 4 cups of beef broth. Okay, going to put in the last cup of broth now. Okay, and if there's not enough broth to cover the vegetables, you can always add a little bit of water as needed. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on your Instant Pot. So there's an arrow that makes it easy to line up. So if you line up these 2 arrows here, well, this is the Kasori. It might be a little bit different for Instant Pot, and then turn it, you wanna lock it. And so then you know, it makes this little noise and you know it's ready to go. Okay, and then the steam, you want to have it in lock position, which is right here. And we're going to put it on manual mode. And this is where you want to make sure that you're at high pressure or pressure cook. So you want to use the pressure cook button or just manual high pressure. And you want to set the timer to 20 minutes and allow the Instant Pot to come to pressure. So if you see here, I have the pressure is all the way up. I thought I was recording all that, but apparently I wasn't. So I just used cook time and put it on 20 and then push start. So I have it on manual mode and the pressure is all the way to high. I used the cook time to 20 and then turned it on to start. And if you have a Kasori, it's gonna look like this for a little bit and then it'll let you know once it starts cooking, and then it'll do the countdown, and I'll show you what it looks like here in just a minute. So it'll take about 20-25 minutes. On the Kasori, there is a meat and stew option here, and I haven't tried it quite yet, but I'll definitely let you know. I'm gonna make this a freezer meal, and so the second time around when I make this, I'm gonna use the meat and stew option, and I'll let you know kind of the difference between the two. But I'm gonna go ahead and be safe on this one and use the manual mode, and I put it on 20. So I suggest giving your Instant Pot about 5 minutes to release pressure on its own. So if you see this right here, this is what's gauging the pressure that's inside. So when it's up, it still has pressure in it. When it goes down, it doesn't. So that's kind of how you gauge it. But okay, so it's been about 12 minutes and I'm kind of in a hurry. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to open this up. Whoops, you see there? So this is what it does when it still has pressure in it. So the pressure gauge just went down, so that's just giving me a sign that it's okay to go ahead and open the top. All Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up the lid. So you just turn to the right. And there it is. Oh my goodness. This looks so good. And there it is. This stew is so delicious, y'all. It's so good. You have to try it. I actually took some over the next day to my grandmother's house, and she actually said that this is the best beef stew she has ever eaten. So and both her and my dad had 2 bowls, and I gave her extra soup so she could have some for supper that night. That was just a huge compliment to hear from my grandmother, because I grew up eating her soup and my mom's soup, and so I just really grew up on beef stew. And I know adding the sweet potatoes and some of the other herbs that I've put in this really kind of gave it a little kick. So anyways, if you try this, definitely let me know down below, and I'd love to hear how yours turned out. Your comments have just made my day on my Mexican pozole recipe, and I'm so glad it's turned out so well for you guys. And I know especially during the holidays, a lot of you made it, and just thank you so much for your sweet comments. If you're new to my channel, definitely subscribe. I plan on making a lot more videos like this. So thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day.